Hey, Solos. So you are going to Walt Disney World all by yourself and you want to go to Animal Kingdom. You've heard the rumors that it is a half day park. That is a wrong rumor for Solos. And you want to know what other people might think about places to go hang out and things to try and foods to try and attractions and what the experience is like going solo. Well, I have a panel again, brought together people for you to talk about those things in particular. And I'm so excited. So excited that I didn't introduce myself or the podcast. Hi, everyone. It's Samantha. Olaf may not know who Samantha is, but now you do. And welcome to Disney Solo Magic, the #1 podcast for solo travel to Disney World. We have done panels of different people, different friends of the podcast, different new listeners to the podcast, new friends of the podcast, about all of the 4 main Disney parks at Walt Disney World. We didn't do the water parks, maybe another time, I guess. And this is the last of the 4. So if you haven't listened to Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, go back and listen to that. But this is Animal Kingdom, and I am really excited, and so excited I didn't even introduce myself or the podcast. We are now in our 3rd year of the podcast, which is why we're celebrating with these panels. And I have also opened up we're coming up to our 100th episode. And although we have done 100 episodes already, it's a whole thing. Don't worry. I'm totally cool with it, as you can hear. So I made a form that you can submit questions, and I love them so much. But as I'm planning out the episode, I think I have room for like 2 more questions. So if you want, you can go to click the link to the form and submit your question, and it'll be answered on the July 2nd episode, I think, which is both the Canada Day and the Independence Day long weekend time. And I'm just really excited for that episode. I'm excited for this episode. So let's get into it. I'm recording with Lily and Claire, who Claire's a friend of the podcast. She's been on. Lily has never been on the podcast before, but Claire and Lily had so much in common, including where they lived. And it was just so wonderful to be in a room where those 2 women could just talk about how amazing Animal Kingdom is and how for some people it really feels like a spiritual experience, and that when you go solo you get to really revel in the secrets and the details and the immersion and all of these wonderful things that the Animal Kingdom is known for. So you're going to love this. And of course, if you're a Patreon member, you can hear an extended version where we talk about our controversial hot takes. This is available video, audio, Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Again, there is a Patreon. You can click the link below to be able to watch the extended version with our controversial hot takes. And also the links to Lily and Claire's social media are also below, including links to the 2 solo story conversations I've had with Claire, which is amazing. And please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Let's just get into it. Hello, everyone. We are back with another panel, this time talking about Animal Kingdom. And this is actually a very international panel. We just learned that we have 2 UK people, and they're actually closer than they even kind of thought, which is really cool. And I can't wait to talk with both of you on the Disney Solo Magic podcast. One person is a friend of the pod, Claire, who I got to meet in person at Epcot in the Canada Pavilion in December, which was amazing. It's so nice to make these connections. And Lily is a new friend of the podcast, and I'm so happy to have you on here. So hello, both.
Hi,
Hello.
hi there.
Can you introduce yourself? Why don't we start with Lily?
Sure. So my name is Lily. I am from the UK, also known as Lily Ellens on Instagram and TikTok and all those fun things. And yeah, big Disney fan, big theme park fan, big Disney Cruise Line fan. So yeah, just love all things magical and whimsy.
And Claire?
So again, based in the UK, you can find me at Claire Freedomstein across Insta, TikTok, and YouTube. Trying to get back to the YouTube. I'm a Disney travel specialist here in the UK, and I also make travel content, Disney far and wide. I've completed the parks around the world, getting through the cruise ships, and next one I'm about to leave in just under 2 weeks to go on the adventure in Singapore. But the the Disney parks in Florida feel like my home.
Yeah, Lily, when you said cruises, I was like, oh, well, there we go. We can also just talk about cruise ships now.
Which is great. It's my new favorite thing.
The last time Claire was on the podcast, she also had a big trip planned. And she said in this podcast 2 weeks from now, I think by the time this is up, she will have gone on that cruise. So please make sure you go and follow her so you can see all those pictures. Lily, do you have any travel plans, either cruise or parks, Disney?
I do.
Okay, what are they?
I always have a trip booked. I'm
Excellent.
I'm heading back to Walt Disney World in the summer at the end of July. Not solo this time though. It's actually a big family trip. There's 7 of us going
Wow.
for 2 weeks, which will be amazing. And then I am booked on the Disney Wish, not until next summer, so summer 2027 when it comes to the UK. But I'll be crossing the wish or ticking the wish off my list, I should say.
Lily, I might see you on there because I'm booked on next summer too. If the wish
Oh,
comes to the UK, you got to do it.
that'd be so fun if we were on the same sailing as well. That would be just truly, truly
Yeah.
strange.
That's so wonderful. I can imagine going to Disney in July and in August, because I know you were there last August, Claire. For someone from the UK, that's like an intense amount of sun for you.
It's very intense, and you can't get used to it either. I mean, I was there last June and I was like, I've got this. I've been here in the summer before. I'm prepared. I've got my fan. I've got all this stuff. And it was like, no, it was just as intense. I was like, I'm sure it wasn't this hot last time. It definitely was. I always say going to Florida in the summer must be a bit like childbirth, in that in the moment you think, oh my gosh, this is awful and intense, and I don't know why I've done this. But then when you come back, you're like, it's totally fine. I'd 100% do that again. It was the best thing ever.
Claire?
As, yeah, as a mum of 4, I love the analogy there, and I can see that. But yes, I've done a few Augusts, and every time I do, I say never again. And just like my children, I had 4 babies, so you go again and again, and you remember the good stuff. And even if the sweat is unbelievable. So yeah.
Well, it's funny because we're talking about Animal Kingdom today, and people say that like it is the statistically hottest park across the Disney World property because of all the foliage. But it's interesting because I think of it as the coolest park because of all the foliage, and I think of just like kind of like rainforest, rain showers when I think of Animal Kingdom. I don't think of it as hot. I think of Epcot as hotter because there's like less coverage.
Yeah, I think it doesn't feel more intense than the other parks. I mean, Epcot for me is by far the hottest park. I also think the heat in Animal Kingdom, it feels right. It feels like it lends
Yes.
itself to the environment, and you're like, yeah, this feels like it should be kind of hot and humid and sweaty because you've got, this tropical environment. So I think it's probably like a subconscious thing in our brains. We're just like, no, this is okay. Like I can totally handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not that the sun is blazing down on you in Animal Kingdom. I think that foliage is holding on to the heat a little bit more at a lower level, so you feel the humidity more. It's like a closeness. It's hard to describe, but a closeness. Whereas you're right, Epcot is the place where I have realized just how far it is to walk from the front to the back in that blazing summer sun. But Animal Kingdom, plenty of shade always. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Lily said, like for me too, it's like, oh, well, this is right because we are in the continent of Africa, we're in the continent of Asia. This is the temperature it's supposed to be.
Yeah, as someone who's been to Asia, I'd say it's pretty accurate on how it feels.
Well, let's start talking about Animal Kingdom more directly. And I wonder if, to kick it off, you have 3 words that you associate with Animal Kingdom. Who
I
wants to go
do.
Okay, go
I've
for it.
written them down because I was like, I can't trust my own memory for this. So I have put detailed, atmospheric, and beautiful.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
I love that.
okay. Okay. Well, similar vibes here because I said details, immersive, and secrets.
Ooh, look at that. I
Mhm.
also feel like you two are basically in the same house recording this. I
We're
feel
so
like
in
this might
sync.
be a parent trap moment. Like I might be getting punked. I was thinking of like foliage, immersive, and I also thought detailed. I also thought musical, but that was kind of like hovering around the edges. So I love that we're all like touching upon the richness of Animal Kingdom because I feel like it is such a unique park amongst the three, amongst the other three.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. It's it's the one with the most to give in a way in terms of Imagineering and these details that we're talking about that simply get missed and passed by. And if you look for them, it's never ending. And that's where the
Yes.
secrets comes in as well. There's so much to see if you pay attention to it. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Joe Rody really knocked out of the park with this one. And as you say, the more you look for them, the more you find. I mean, I think every single time I visit that park, I see something that I've never seen before. I love it. I've just got my camera roll is just full of pictures of like posters and imagery and signs and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. That's so cool. So I love it, and I love it for the details.
What I find interesting about my photos is that I will take a picture of something and be like, I've never seen this before. This is the most unique thing I've ever seen. And then I'll go back to photos from the last trip or like the trip from 20 years ago, and they're the exact same photo. And I think there's just something about the park where you are open to seeing differently, like you want to see differently.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And you can have the same photo, but you will see something different, even looking at it at the same angle. You think about its centerpiece, the Tree of Life. We've all seen the Tree of Life every single time we've walked into the park as we're walking around, and yet you will spot a something else, a something else. It was only recently I went right down to the front. I was there December, like you said, and I'm watching the projections, and I was looking at all. I must have stood by those tree trunks a million times at the front, and I went, oh my gosh, that's a horse. Oh my gosh. And I have looked at it and taken pictures of it 100 times. So you will always see something new. It will feel new every single time.
And I think that's why it's such a great park to go solo. I know a lot of people say it's a half day park, but I've never heard any solos. You're both shaking your head. I've never heard any solos say that. And I think it's because when you're solo, you aren't rushing. You can take in those details and like really appreciate it. And the more I talk to people who go solo and who love Disney, it is all of that like Imagineering stuff that we're also really drawn to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what's your
definitely is for me.
what's your experience like going solo, especially in comparison to when you've gone with others?
I think, like you said, it's kind of that pace. You can just slow everything down a bit. And I mean, I am someone who will stand and take photos and take videos for hours and hours and hours on end. And when you're with other people, they don't want to do that, and they don't want to have me going, "Please take my phone and take a picture of me here. Now take a picture of me here." Like, so the fact that when you're on your own, it's like I can take as much time as I want to take as many pictures as I want to, soak in these details as much as I want to. And also, the park is huge. The park is absolutely massive. And I think people forget that because the way that it's been designed and engineered, it all feels like it's in like these small pockets. But it's so vast. So there is so much to explore. And just because there isn't necessarily as many rides and attractions as there is in the other parks, there's no less for you to do there. It's just slightly different.
I
Hmm.
completely agree. And yeah, Guru to the half day park, the popular opinion, they're very, very wrong. I said secrets earlier. It is in those details. And again, I'm someone I will photograph every detail. The trails, the two main animal trails, people that I'm with don't always have the patience. They're marching through and they go, oh, it's a bird. Oh, it's a. the details on those trails, from the wall murals to even the benches. Next time you're in Animal Kingdom, take a look at those benches. They are themed. And not even those animal trails. Look for the paths to the Tree of Life. Look for all these hidden trails. It's the most peaceful park. If you go down there, you can be just quiet. So it's wonderful. The other things, solo wise, not just taking photos, having photos. People don't always want to line up for those photo pass photographers. Lily will agree with me, with a UK ticket, we get photo pass included anyway. So I'm sorry, Samantha. So I'm going to go line up for all those beautiful shots in the most gorgeous scenery. And single rider is great for Everest. But you can
100%.
really, but you can really luxuriate, take your time. It's the rides are secondary to what the Animal Kingdom experience truly should be. People forget that.
Definitely, definitely. So we did a March Madness episode that will be out by the time people are listening to this, but you don't know it because it hasn't been out when we're recording this. But we did a March Madness episode about the best ride or attraction to do solo. And we started with 4 rides per park that people voted for on Patreon. And when we got down to the end, Maharaja Jungle Trek was like one of the final like 4 things that people were voting on, and that was over Everest, but that was also over like certain rides at Epcot, and everyone just kept talking about how like if you are there solo and you want to know stuff, all of these trails and the treks and all that stuff are so designed with such layered detail that the cast members will tell you about, as well as the animals and all of these things. And it's just so special because you're getting a completely different experience than if you were just rushing through.
Absolutely. Those keepers are a hive of knowledge. And I feel bad sometimes because they start and everyone tries to edge away and not listen. You have an expert right there. You can ask them anything. They will know. They'll tell you their names. They have stories about the animals. You can really get to know those animals living in Animal Kingdom. So don't back away from those keepers. Listen and learn something. Definitely.
Completely.
And ask questions.
Yeah, because as a solo traveler, sometimes people, I mean, I know when I've told people I've done it solo, they're like, oh, surely that's really lonely. And, and it's like, no, like, in my experience anyway, cast members were talking to me all the time, other guests were talking to me all the time. But actually, if you are seeking out that little bit more interaction, the keepers are the perfect people to talk to because that's what they're there for. They're there to have a conversation with you, to tell you about their job, to tell you about their animals. So it's a great way to get that bit of extra interaction if that's something that you're looking for.
And they're like dying to share that information.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw bats for the very first time close up at Animal Kingdom, and I was like, these are so fascinating. And it became like one of my favorite animals, and people are like, bats, like, what do you know about bats? And I was like, no, you should see them at Animal Kingdom. And like, it was just amazing how close up you could see some of these animals, and to be able to like learn about the way they designed these habitats for them too is just incredible.
Something to add to that, if you are going solo, your costs are going to be less. And if you have a little bit of money, I strongly suggest adding one of the backstage tours at Animal Kingdom, talking about getting close to the animals. I did Wild Africa Trek, and you can also do the Caring for Giants with the elephants. There's one with the rhinos. I strongly recommend, if it's in the budget, go do it. It's a more intimate experience. I did it solo. No one made me feel bad about it. A really worthwhile part of your trip, I think. Yeah.
Lily, have you done any of them?
I haven't, but they are on my bucket list, and that goes for across Walt Disney World property. There's so many tours that they offer, and there's so many that I'd love to do, but Wild Africa Trek is absolutely up there because it's just, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube of people doing it, and every time I see it, I think, wow, that's incredible. I've got to do that one day.
It's worth every penny.
So, just for some information, there are 4 behind the scenes tours at Animal Kingdom. Savor the Savannah and Wild Africa Track are expensive. They're like more than the cost of a ticket. And then there is an elephant one, a rhino one, and those are kind of like affordable. I think they're like under $70. I don't even think 70, I think it's even under $50.
They
They're a
are
much
$35
Yeah,
currently.
much
$35
different
plus tax.
experience. Rhinos, you can touch the rhinos, the rhino singular, and it's much harder to get the reservation. If you like elephants, it's like a different platform to see the elephants, and I just like going backstage. It's really cool.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
seeing it from a different angle, you're still going on the same savannah as you would on the safari, but you are going your own private pathway. And to really get backstage with going over the crocodiles is the famous bit with the bridges, but you are going really up close. The keepers are taking you along the way. You're interacting with the keepers. The view from the Boma is beautiful, but again, it's talking with these cast members and these keepers, getting the type of knowledge you couldn't possibly, and really learning the personalities of these animals. So yes, I must go back and do the other ones.
For sure, for sure. And I also just want to do a plug that there is something called the Starlight Safari at Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is the hotel. So you don't need a park ticket. And that is an evening safari tour of the safari at the hotel. And that is also really, really exciting, and not as much as Savor the Savannah or a Wild Africa Trek. So that's also a good option if anyone's interested. It was really cool. They gave you like night vision goggles. Yeah. So ride or attraction strategy when you're at Animal Kingdom. Do you have one?
I'm a rope drop girly. I think, and that's my strategy for all the parks. I get in there early. I try and knock out the attractions I want to do as early and as quickly as possible. And then I can just slow down for the rest of the day. Alternatively, though, because I did this on my last trip, I went into Animal Kingdom at about maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so like for the last few hours. And I did every major attraction in the final hour of the park being open. So that is, I would say usually rope drop is the way to go, and you definitely can get a lot done that way. But I would say specifically for Animal Kingdom, going for the end of the day is probably the best way to do it, because unfortunately the wrong people in the world think it's a half-day park. We know better. But so a lot of people leave sort of in the early afternoon. So those last couple of hours, it gets very quiet. I mean, I think I did Flight of Passage. It was like a 25-minute wait at the end of the day, which,
Yeah, that's just a walk on.
pretty unheard of. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite ride?
My personal favorite is Everest.
Mm-hmm.
So I do love rope dropping Everest because it's always like a walk on, and I do it 2 or 3 times in a row. Get my bit of an Everest fix. But yeah, I mean, again, if you go towards the end of the park day, it's going to be a really short wait as well.
And there's always the single rider line, which is
Yes.
often very efficient as a solo. How about you, Claire?
So it's a little bit of both. I like rope dropping Animal Kingdom, but I also fully agree that at the end of the day, when the park has cleared out, it's like a treasure trove for you to explore. But how I do it, I do love my characters, and my favorite show in all of Disney World is Festival of the Lion King. So my day would look something like, if I was rope dropping, I'd go over to Navi River Journey, let everyone else go to Flight of Passage. I'm heading to Navi River Journey. I'm getting one of the best breakfasts in the park at Satuli Canteen. Okay, outstanding breakfasts. And then I'm probably getting in line for a character. So Moana is a great spot to see her early, or another character, because everyone is heading to the rides. That's my time to do characters. I'm going to see a show. And from that point, I do those rides. But like Lily, I'm saving them for the end of the day. Even controversially, Safari, sometimes I'll do it early, but Safari, all the waits go down. So I'm using that time in the middle of the day to see my shows. The new Zootopia show is wonderful, and I'm exploring those trails. I may be even doing a couple of stickers of Wilderness Explorers, another great activity we haven't discussed yet. But go be a wilderness explorer and collect your stamps, because you're going to discover so much about the park. So I've got those early morning things, and then I'm luxuriating And in the last couple of hours, that's when I'm doing Flight of Passage, and that's when I'm doing Everest. If I'm passing Everest, I will jump in the single rider line. And I love going to Animal Kingdom in the winter because you really want to be in Pandora at the end of the day when you see it in its full glowing glory. It's rare that the park is open later enough. That's why the winter months. But that's where I'm going to be. So it's similar in our styles, and both of us have said, weirdly, save those rides for the end of the day because your waits are going to be so much shorter.
Totally, totally. I sometimes think of that regarding Festival of the Lion King, and then I remember, oh no, they also stop early. So I will often do lightning lanes in this park. I'm not really a person who does a lot of rides, but I will do lightning lanes in this park in order to do the safari and the Festival of the Lion King, because those are the things that I like. Those are the most special things for me in that park. And like you, Claire, if I pass a single rider line at Everest, I do really like that ride quite a bit, but I never go to Pandora. Like those aren't my rides. And so I like to catch like the bird show at the front of the park. Like I will organize my time in order to have the parrots fly over my head. And it's like those kind of special moments to me that, again, like I want to get a lightning lane for that because I want to just be able to like groove through the park at my own speed, ironically, because you think you can't do that with a lightning lane.
Yep,
Yeah, it's a good strategy for sure.
That is a great strategy. And I had forgotten about the parrots and the magnificence of them flying over your head. And people don't stop for it, and they really should. They catch it if they're passing.
Yeah.
But it is one of those, wow, they're so close, they're so clever. No one's making them be there, so they're clearly having a wonderful life at Animal Kingdom. You've never seen anything like it. The colours flying over your head, and they'll go as close as, well, I'm blurred, but they'll go, just a few inches above you, synchronized. Oh, it's stunning. So yeah.
It's so special. It's a really special experience. And as you say, they are clearly very happy to be there. I mean, I don't know if you watched the Secrets of Animal Kingdom on Disney
Yes.
Plus and National Geographic. And, they don't have to be there. They are free to roam. They can come and go as they please. So they choose to come and do that every, however many times a day that they do it, because, I mean, yeah, they get a little treat at the end of it, but they just love it. And I think you experience that as a guest, and that feeling can't be beat. It is truly really really special.
Yeah. I was at the park with my mother, and we both separated because we had to go to the bathroom, or she had to go to the bathroom. I don't know, whatever. So we weren't together, and we both saw the birds from different parts. And when we came back together, we both were just sobbing, and we were like, "What did we just see? It was so magical!" And there's magic all over Walt Disney World. Actually, a whole bunch of pigeons just flew by. Not quite as magical, but there's so much magic across Walt Disney World. But to see like animals, right? Like this like real magic of like these gorgeous, colorful animals is just so breathtaking. The pigeons are great too, but not really. So you had mentioned that you really like a breakfast at Sully Canteen. What other like food faves would you recommend that solos check out?
Yeah, I mean, Satuli Canteen, I'm happy with breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I can't lie. It's one of I'm going to say one of the healthier options on property. If you need something lighter, those protein bowls are fantastic. I'm also going to be found outside at Pongu Pongu. I mean, Avatar Pandora for food is a winner. The drink, I even like the pineapple lumpia. Imagine a spring roll, and you've got the pineapple and the cream cheese in there, but all the food there. Other spots I really like is in Discovery Island. You've got endless choices for food. There is, if you look at what was the entrance to Dino Land, oh, if you look at the bridge there just to the left, I can't remember what the cart's called. They often have a tiger tail, very similar to the Cheshire Cat tail in Magic Kingdom. That's a fun one. But in the afternoon, when you're feeling hot and you want a rest, Tiffin's Lounge. If you go, so you can do walk up, you can go on the app and you can just see if you can join the wait. It is such a treat to sit. They have tables around the side, and it's just bites. You can have a full meal, but you don't need to. The water is right there. They'll bring the drapes down if the sun is shining, and you luxuriate in the most lovely chairs. So I do recommend that. Stop for a drink and a bite. The famous gluten-free churros are there as well. Anyone gluten-free listening? So I love that as well. So those are probably my favourites. What's great about Animal Kingdom food is there is a cart you walk in and there's another cart, and it might be ice cream treats, but they've got plenty of bars. You don't have to drink the alcohol, but there's always a frozen something. So you can snack along the way, but I really do like sitting in the lounge, and if I'm in Pandora, I'm grabbing something there as well. So those are my things. It's about luxuriating with the snack, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And Nomad's Lounge, attached to Tiffin's, has the outdoor seating, but they've also expanded the indoor seating too. So if you also just want some air conditioning, there's that option. How about you, Lily?
Yeah, I mean, Nomad Lounge is a favorite spot of mine, especially solo. Um, it's just everything about that place is just amazing to me. I just love the experience there. I think the service you get there is really special, and unlike a lot of the other lounges across property, it is much more relaxed. It's much easier to get a spot there. They're not going to boot you out after 45 minutes. They really understand that you're there to just take a moment away from the parks, you know, grab a cocktail, grab some churros. That's what I like to do anyway. And just, yeah, take an hour or so just to soak in the vibes of Animal Kingdom. But of course, I also agree with Pandora. I actually think Satuli Canteen is probably the best quick service on property. That chimichurri beef noodle bowl is probably my favorite thing to eat across property. And as you say, it's pretty healthy compared to some other options. So you don't even feel that guilty eating it. Of course, I usually get my protein bowl with a side of cheeseburger pods, which may be less healthy, but they're just a
I don't think
chaser.
you're
They're just a
alone,
side.
Lily. I
I
think there
also
are
have to shout out
options.
Mr. Kamal's fries
Okay.
because you think they're just fries. They're just fries with seasoning. And not this. They've put something special in those fries because they are delicious. And I could probably eat 3, 4, 5 portions of those if I allowed myself because they are just perfection.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I want to give a shout out to Tiffin's as well. Tiffin's is a signature restaurant, but it's kind of a museum and art gallery for the trips the Imagineers, including Joe Rohde, took. And I feel like that specialness of the artwork inside and the Imagineering notebooks and like artifacts often gets lost. And as a solo, I have been able, the manager was like, "Oh, you had questions," and then like gives me like a private tour of like different things and explaining all this stuff. And it was a really special experience, and it is pricey because it's a signature restaurant, but I have had such delicious meals there. Claire, you said about seeing characters, and I love to see characters at Tusker House, which is a character dining, and that's also really yummy. And Yak and Yeti is a harder dining reservation to get, but I had a meal there like 20 years ago that I still think about to this day. So,
I
yeah,
forgot to mention about Yak and Yeti, and yes, I've never had a bad meal there. Their ahi tuna nachos are insane. Is that the one?
no,
They
but
are.
but it's hard to eat those solo unless you have eaten those solo.
Where there's a will, there's a way. I haven't
Fair,
managed
fair.
I haven't managed a full one, but actually, I wanted to give a shout out to the Yak and Yeti Cafe, which is the quick service. Now, I don't think the tubs, the takeout, the egg fried rice, I don't think any of those are particularly special. But if you're craving a fruity sweet treat, because I'm not a chocolate kind of person, they have a mango pie there that is on the main menu in Yak and Yeti. But this mango pie, uh, Yes, I do. I do pick that up if I'm going past. So Yak and Yeti, I think is a fantastic one. And again, immersion inside. It's gorgeous inside.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mango pie and those French fries are on my list to try next time. You mentioned Dinosaur Claire, and I'm wondering, or Dino Land, and I'm wondering how you all feel about that. I am super happy that Dino Land is gone. It never like Molly from Mammoth Club talked about because she was a cast member in that area, and she talked about the story, and it's like, okay, that's a really cool story, but like you don't. I never understood it being there, and I thought the concrete was whatever. It just didn't belong there for me. And I never had like particularly good experiences. I would have liked to, but bleh. So I'm so excited that it's closed, and I'm even more excited about what is to come. And so, what are your feelings about Dino Land and also like Latin American Land or whatever is coming?
It's
Okay.
mixed. I think I feel mixed about it. Like I love Dinosaur and I think there is that nostalgia to it. So you're like, oh, I can't imagine the park without it there. And I do love the detailing that was in like Restaurantosaurus. Like I love the effort that they put there because that was often missed by like your average guest. But when you really looked closely, there was so much hidden detail there. But then sort of the other side with sort of the more carnival rides and games and stuff that didn't really feel completely in keeping with, what we would consider a Disney theme park. And so I can imagine sort of the Encanto house having like a dark ride inside. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless there, and I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And so although we'll all mostly mourn Dr. Seeker. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but that's who I'm really going to miss the most. I think what they can bring with Tropical Americas is we'll probably not forget about Dr. Seeker, but we'll just look back on him fondly and be very happy with what we've got instead.
I it didn't click to me until I was watching a Mammoth Club video that like academics will seek grants for their research. So Dr. Grant Seeker, I was like, oh my God, look at that name. And it didn't occur to me, and I felt foolish I didn't get it right away.
I think a part of it is that nostalgia. I mean, I'd never wanted one before. And when I found it was closing, I went and bought myself one of those dinosaur hand puppets so I could go anytime I'm like, hello there. I had to. It is a big part of it is nostalgia. Going solo is one thing. As going as a parent with your kids, all my kids were traumatized by Dinosaur at some point. It was the first time they go, never again. It's fun. It's the nostalgia of it, but I'm very excited to have Casitas. I know it's supposed to be Antonio's bedroom. This is the premise, without giving spoilers away if you don't want spoilers, but the premise is that we're going to go into Antonio's bedroom. So that's the link up with the animals there. Having been over to the other coast and been on Indiana Jones, okay, it's mind-blowing. So the fact that they're going to give us a 2.0 of that at Animal Kingdom, different story, wow. But saying goodbye to Chip and Dale as the Chipmunkosauruses dressed as dinosaurs. I mean, I full on sobbed. I when I was there in August, I made my peace. I said my goodbyes. There was a whole montage of photos. The cast members just kept snapping. It was a whole story developing. There was group hugs. I will get emotional now. And when I was there in December, I went, I'm not doing it to myself. I'm not going there. I was walking through it and they walked past me and so it's the moments that I have had in that land. I'm actually getting choked up, but it's the moments I've had in that land on my own or with friends or with my kids. I won't miss the carnival games. I won't miss Triceratops spin. Primeval Whirl is long gone. I don't think we needed that. But there was something about the nostalgia of that land. Once it's done, I am sure Disney fans are going to embrace it. And I'm sure there's going to be an Easter egg to Dr. Grant Seeker in there. There has to be. They're very
There
good
has to
at it.
be. We'll be rioting if there isn't.
Absolutely.
We'll be looking for him.
Um, last summer or the summer before last, I don't usually go out of my way to like find characters, but I also wanted to meet Chip and Dale in their dinosaur costumes. And so that was the only time where I like looked up the time on the app, went to the park, and then like stood around waiting for them and they never came out. So it wasn't meant to be for me, but I'm really glad that it was as cute as I imagined for you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Was it a slightly rainy day? Because sometimes
Uh,
they would move them here in the
maybe.
carnival games undercover. They'd use Restaurantosaurus. So you did have to ask, I'm sorry you didn't get that.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll work through it. That's I mean why I go to therapy for that particular reason. But yeah, it's so amazing how so many of these places are connected with memories, but what's really exciting about the new Latin American land is that I think that we're going to have these memories because of the popularity of Encanto and there's going to be the Joe Rohde signature on it because he is a consulting Imagineer, and the Indiana Jones ride, which is great, but also because it's going to be in the same dinosaur building. So I think it will feel like so amazing, but also really familiar when it opens in like a really really special way.
Yeah, it's essentially going to be the same ride system, the same track, so they might get it open faster than we think. It's still going to have the same motion. Let's wait and see when people actually start riding it. I think they'll get it, and it's wonderful that Joe Rohde, who is not allowed to retire apparently, is involved once again.
They won't let him go. He's just too good.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
also really, really love that they have been sharing so much about these academic conferences that they have been developing to get the history and the culture and the iconography right. And I think that is something that Disney has done really, really well over the last decade or so, and that the fact that they are honoring like the research that's already been done I think is really really exciting too.
Yeah, you can see that in the line for Everest.
Yes.
All the research there. Disney have been very good at it. And coming away from Animal Kingdom for a minute, Aulani out on Oahu, the care they took with the Hawaiian culture
Yes.
over there, and even it's the first resort that doesn't start with the word Disney. It's Aulani, a Disney resort and spa, because they wanted to respect that culture. So yeah, it's wonderful the work they do. Everyone go take a look at these details. It's all there for you to see.
And when you're there solo, you can just do that. Like, I've been in the Pandora line or the Avatar Flight of Passage line twice. I've only ridden it once though, and the first time we were like just because I was there with my mother, we were like just walk around us. Like we just want to like look at the line. And when you're there solo, like you don't need to like go on the ride. Just like look around, and the details are amazing. And I that research and that respect for research you can really see in movies like Moana and Encanto, but not all movies or all instances, which brings me to my hot take. But I think we're going to pause this and go over to Patreon for our controversial hot takes about Animal Kingdom. So, those controversial hot takes aside, where is like a special place that you like to go to when you're at Animal Kingdom and you're there solo that you like to kind of think about or just like spend time in?
For me, well, there was two places. So one is Nomad Lounge, which we've already spoken about. I think
Yep.
it's a really lovely place for people to go, whether you're in a group or solo. And the second was Conservation Station and Rafiki's Planet Watch,
Yes.
which is the future is a bit TBD. We don't really know exactly what that's going to look like now. Obviously, we've got the Bluey meet and greet going there. We know that the animation experience is not there anymore and has moved to Hollywood Studios, but without the live animators, which makes me very sad because that was something that I really liked doing. I loved getting the train over. I loved going and doing the animation experience with the live animator because that's something that you could enjoy on your own really easily because you're all just sat in rows all learning to draw at the same time. Plus, they had the exhibits there. I never actually got to see any of like the veterinary surgeries and stuff going on, but obviously you could see that if you were there and lucky enough to be there at a time where they were doing an exam. So I think it's a really great place to go, and just again take things at a slower pace. Take a look around. There was plenty to keep you busy there, but it wasn't going to take up lots of time. You didn't have to queue for a long time or anything like that. So that was somewhere that I really like and really enjoyed going to, but I don't know whether I will now in the future. It will depend on what they do with it. As much as I
Yeah.
love Bluey.
Yeah, I mean, as an adult without children, like Bluey, the first time I was introduced to Bluey was in Abbott Elementary, and I thought they just created a character that one of the kids were talking about. And then I was like, wait a second, it's Disney ABC. Why would they need to do that? Cross promotion. So, yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Although I will also say for those who haven't listened on Patreon that Lily might also have said the Nemo musical. That came up in the controversial hot take section, but we won't talk about why. But also, I assume that's also a special place for you to hang out.
It is.
How about you, Claire?
So Pandora is my number one. Less so, as I said, near the end of the day, that's my special place to go, and I'm going to get one of those awful night blossoms, Lily. But I find there's always a quiet area if you go looking for it. So I'm finding a piece of rockwork and my night blossom. And as it quietens down, you can hear all the sounds of Pandora, all those animals. So that's my number one spot to be. The other place you're going to find me is down by the water. That path between Africa and Asia, if you look to the sides, you can go off to the paths. There is little seating areas. So I love that. And also through Flame Tree Barbecue. If you wander far enough, you're going to find secret little places to sit there. But you might find me on Maharaja Jungle Trek, one of the treks, and taking in a bench there. So I'm normally looking for where there's no other people around, and it's easier to find in Animal Kingdom than you'd think. So go down these paths, everybody. Those are my favourite kind of places to find. Yeah, those are my special places. But if I can hit Pandora at the right time of year when it's glowing, I'm sitting there just letting the sun fall and it start to glow. That's my number one.
Yeah, I love that. I haven't seen Pandora at night, but Claire, ever since the first time we've spoke, it's been on my list, and like for whatever reason it like never has worked out on any of the trips since then, but because you've always spoke so highly of it, it's still like just something I want to prioritize when I have one of those longer trips that I can really appreciate and spend a lot of time. I love to sit anywhere where there's water at Animal Kingdom, and there are just so many, like you said, like so many places that you can go and just be sitting by the water and maybe eating something, maybe just sitting. And if there are people there, there literally will not be in like 2 or 3 minutes, like, or it's a solo who's also just journaling or talking. One of the first times I recorded an episode in the parks was at Animal Kingdom because I knew that there were like little hidden places I could go and record things. And since I have learned that people actually really love to hear all the background music, so I don't need to like hide to record things anymore. But it was just so amazing to like go and sit in the bleachers and like watch the water and record stuff for the podcast and just like think about how lucky we all are when we are able to do these solo vacations and like know how important it is to like for our souls, right? To like be in these beautiful, magical places.
Absolutely. And it's one of those, and it's pretty much the only park that you can really do that. Like
Yeah.
none of the other parks really have those true places of tranquility. And they're also great spots if you're trying to get pictures, pictures with the tree or just pictures with like the beautiful foliage. Because I don't know about you guys. I mean, I got over it. Like as my trip went on, I got more confident. But when I'm trying to take pictures of myself on my own, you don't want to be setting up your little tripod and having the little photo shoot with an audience. So they're actually great places to go if you do want to get a few pictures, because as you say, they're usually very quiet. And if people are there, they usually move on pretty quickly. And you can use those little tables and benches to set up your little tripod, or drop your phone up and get those cute pictures. Take as many as you want for as long as you want with no judgment.
No judgment.
I agree.
The hyperness anxiety that you can often feel at other parks there are like like certain localized places of the animal kingdom where you can feel that, usually around those quick service at the front, but then it like dissipates and you're like, how lucky that we're here.
Yeah.
So lucky. I think that's the thing with nature in general, isn't it? People always say
Yeah.
when you connect with nature in any way, that has such an impact on everybody's mental health and just your general mentality. It does calm you down. It does reduce your heart rate. And I think that's probably why Animal Kingdom, well, for the three of us at least, we all love it so much is, it's one of those places, particularly when you're solo, you can go and just take a break and take a breather.
Yeah.
As someone who has ADHD, not the hyper so much, but there's always a million thoughts and any other park I'm thinking, what's next? More strategy, da da da. With Animal Kingdom, you're right. It's healing your soul, and I'm not trying to say it's a spiritual thing. This is a theme park. I know it feels more, but you're right. It's the place where I can go and calm. And when I tell people, I promise we can have a calm experience if we go to Animal Kingdom, no one believes me till they do it with me and go, wow, I rested and I sat and I still did everything. And I'm like, do you get it now? So yeah, if people take anything away from this podcast, it's that you can go and you can be calm. You will still do everything you want. You can find the quiet. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a haven.
And it can be a spiritual experience. Who's to say what's spiritual? If it's spiritual for you, let it be spiritual for you. There's those beautiful Tibetan prayer flags there that always just are just like, take my breath away. And I think that a lot of people find a bit of a spiritual solace, not religious necessarily, at these places. And I think Animal Kingdom does that really well. So thank you both so much for coming on the podcast and like sharing that joy and the calmness. And yeah, this was just such a wonderful conversation. Is there anything about Animal Kingdom you wanted to say that we didn't cover?
I don't think so. I just think it's give Animal Kingdom a chance. I think so often it is overlooked and people are very quick to dismiss it. And there is so much more to it than it first seems. And I really just encourage everybody that on your next trip, just spend a bit more time there, plan an extra day there, because you'll be amazed how much more you can do and how much more you can discover.
Love it.
Yeah. All too often you hear people, you look in Facebook chats or groups, and I've got 3 days, which park am I dropping? It's the park that gets dropped out of people's itineraries, and they're missing out on something different. Maybe they are ride focused, but they are missing out on so much. So I completely agree with Lily. Do it. One little thing, and I finally found it the last trip when I was in the park. I was talking about look for the secret paths. Look for these details. Go down different paths where you think you're not allowed and you are. There's no gate. You are coming into the very entrance of the park. When people are going down, you'll come in through the gates and you'll split left and right and go. You're coming down and you'll have the big reveal of the tree. If you go to the left and just look to your right a little bit and you'll see a cave. There is a wonderful floating bridge there and a waterfall and a really cool cave. So if you need somewhere shady and cool to sit, go look for this cave and the floating bridge, because I was absolutely charmed. I was like, oh, what a beautiful waterfall. Go look for this. So yeah, go look for the secret paths, go look for the secret things.
Go look for the kangaroos,
the kangaroo, yeah, you count the carvings in the tree, then look again and you go, oh, there's another one. Details, secret paths, calm, tranquility. It's all those things.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you both. Please remind everyone how they can get in touch with you and follow you. Lily, you can go first.
Sure. So my handle is Lily Ellens, which is LILYELLENS on all the socials. So Instagram is where I'm most active. You can also find me on Threads and TikTok and maybe soon to be YouTube. We'll see if I manage to get that vlogging camera out. But yeah, please do come along and join me and yeah, just share more of the magic.
And Claire?
I love that, Lily. And get the camera out. We'd all love to see it. So you can find me across everything at Claire Freedom, in the middle, the word Freedom Stein, Stein. Again, probably most active on Insta. There's a YouTube history there, different vlogs, cruise, that kind of thing. Sometimes on Threads, less on TikTok, but that's how you can find me.
And links to their handles are below, along with links to the 2 solo stories I've done with Claire. And Lily will have to get you back to talk about a cruise ship or something like that to
Absolutely.
have your own solo story. But thank you both. This was so wonderful. Until
Thank
next
you.
time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much.
Hey Solos, it's Samantha. As we move into our 3rd year of the podcast, please continue to support the podcast by liking, reviewing, subscribing on any and all of the platforms that this streams: Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. Becoming a Patreon member is also an option and also just a wonderful way to support me and the podcast. Much appreciated to all the members, both free and paid. I can't wait to continue making content for you as we move into our 3rd year.